Today on Public Eye News, the U.S. has stopped shipping hazardous waste from Ohio to Michigan for dumping, and later, a package left by the failed Trump assassin was found in a mailbox calling others to action.
Luke Neal will have your weather forecast for the next couple of days, and later today's sports breakdown. I'm Beck Brearley.
And I'm Reed Hall, and this is Public Eye News. The federal government has halted shipment of hazardous material from Ohio to a Michigan landfill. This, a ripple effect after a judge intervened in a separate case to suspend waste shipment plans from New York. While both sites are managed by the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, only shipment from Luckey, Ohio has taken place. This trucking, primarily of the toxic metal beryllium, has been ongoing since 2018 to a disposal site in Van Buren Township equipped to handle such material. All such shipments have been paused after the most recent court ruling has sided with the concerns of the surrounding communities. A court hearing for the New York shipment plans is set for September 26th. And Republican activists in swing states are speaking up, saying they have seen little signs of door-to-door knocking by Team Trump, a task aimed at turning out infrequent voters on behalf of the former president. This has raised concerns about Trump's reliance on outside groups to handle an important part of his campaign operations. Trump and the Republican National Committee have opted to share get-out-to-vote duties with groups like America PAC. While Trump aides say they have nearly 30,000 volunteers, many Republican officials say they have rarely or never witnessed these canvassers. Meanwhile, Harris's outreach on the ground is being led by campaign-paid staff, which totals 2,200 people across 328 offices. The outside groups Harris has employed primarily do advertising, something the Harris campaign has outspent Trump on 2-1.
NMU budgets $2.6 million towards new investments. The 2024 through 25 general fund budget approved by the board is about $131 million, an increase of nearly $5.8 million from the past fiscal year. NMU's overall enrollment is also up roughly 3% this fall semester. The Board of Trustees approved a general operating budget that aims to increase faculty wages and student opportunities. Northern will remove barriers to student access by increasing financial aid and scholarships by more than $1 million, said Gavin Leach, NMU's Vice President of Finance and Administration. Other areas receiving funding include community outreach, as well as university infrastructure enhancement and protection. And the Michigan Department of Natural Resources has announced that proposals for community-based tree planting projects are now being accepted. The program provides financial and technical assistance to communities throughout the state that are supported by DTE Electric and Gas, also partnering with Relief Michigan, a nonprofit. Beginning in 1996, the DTE Energy Foundation was created to improve communities and the environment through tree planting. A total of $100,000 will be available this year, and proposals will be accepted through October 25th. For more information about tree planting grants, go to www.michigan.gov/UCF. And the housing crisis is being felt across the nation. Here in Marquette is no different. Scammers are taking advantage of the housing crisis any way they can. CBS correspondent Usher Karashi has more.
One way scammers are targeting people is by posing as government programs for low-income housing on social media. For example, this is a PSA about a fraudulent Section 8 housing ad from a scammer using Facebook. People fill out an application thinking they're getting on a wait list or applying to low-income housing. Instead, scammers steal their information to commit fraud, according to the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development. Another one is fraudulent housing listings. They often promote a low price, use fake, copied, or doctored photos, and request upfront payments. Seller impersonation fraud is an example of this. These are emails where the scammer attempted to impersonate the legitimate owner of a vacant property and steal funds from the sale. To make sure you don't become the victim of a scam, make sure to do your research. If a price seems super low, compare it to other homes in the area and verify. Ask for official documentation. Cross-check information by making sure the contact information lines up with the property owner listed on an official website. And be wary of anyone trying to make a hard sell or pushing for upfront costs before a housing agreement is signed. Bottom line, if something seems off, take a pause and do your due diligence. And if it seems too good to be true, it probably is. In New York, I'm Usher Qureshi.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with another national news after this break. Stay tuned.
You can't have the United States without the histories of all of the Latino communities.
connection to culture is so important.
I move and feel in my traditions and my stories.
We do what we love with respect and loyalty.
We have changed U.S. history.
Sí, se puede.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm your host, Luke Niddle, and I'll be taking you through our weather forecast. Taking off with the campus cam behind me, as you can see, it's green grass and blue skies for a beautiful day here in Marquette. Taking a look towards the rest of the UP, starting off in Houghton, it is 65 and sunny. Over in Ironwood, 63 and sunny. In Iron Mountain, 64 and mostly cloudy. Down in Menominee, 64 and sunny. Taking a look towards the eastern side of our board, in Escanaba, it's 64 and mostly cloudy. In Manistee, same conditions, so it's 63. In the Sioux, same conditions as well, 62. And back in our lovely Marquette, 61 and sunny. Taking a look more towards our current conditions, we have winds out of the east-northeast at 9 miles an hour, and our barometric pressure is 30.06 inches and falling. Looking towards tonight, we're going to have cloudy skies with a low of 47, winds out of the southeast again at 9 miles an hour, and our moon phase is going to be waning gibbous. Taking a look towards tomorrow, we're going to have mostly cloudy skies with a high of 66, a low of 53, and winds out of the east at 10 miles an hour. Looking towards the rest of our week, starting off on Wednesday, we're going to have a high of 71 with a low of 53 with mostly cloudy skies. Thursday, high of 70. Those clouds are starting to part a little bit, and a low of 52. And Friday, those skies are finally clearing up, high of 75, low of 55. That's all I have for weather. Back to the news desk.
Thank you, Luke, for that weather update. Just a beautiful day to kick off that fall weather. Taking a look now at our national news. The man accused of an apparent assassination attempt of Donald Trump at a golf course in Florida appears to have left a note behind outlining his intentions. The new allegations were included in a detention memo ahead of today's hearing to keep Ryan Wesley Ruth behind bars as the case moves forward. The note was placed in a box dropped off months earlier at the home of an unidentified person who did not open it until after Ruth's arrest. One note addressed Dear World appears to be based on the idea the assassination attempt would be unsuccessful. In the note, Ruth says, quote, "This was an assassination attempt on Donald Trump, but I failed," end quote, and that he would offer, quote, $150,000 to whomever can complete the job, end quote. Ruth also kept in his car dates and venues where Trump was set to appear. Cell phone records also indicate Ruth was near the golf course multiple times in the last month. An attorney has not immediately responded to an email seeking comment. And on Capitol Hill, where Sunday congressional leaders announced an agreement on a short-term spending bill that will fund the federal government into December. The agreement averts a possible partial shutdown and will push final decisions past the November elections. A temporary spending bill usually funds agencies at current levels, but an additional $231 million was included to bolster the Secret Service. Up until Sunday, lawmakers had struggled to reach an agreement as House Speaker Mike Johnson had linked temporary funding with a mandate compelling states to require proof of citizenship when people registered to vote. Johnson ultimately abandoned this approach as it had no chance in the Democratic-led Senate and opposition from the White House. The final result that puts funding effectively on autopilot was the expected outcome throughout the negotiation process. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said the same agreement could have been made weeks ago, but Speaker Johnson chose to follow the MAGA way. And with the changing weather, allergy sufferers are being hit hard in the UP. CBS correspondent Susan Elizabeth Littlefield has more on how you can find some relief. Take a look.
Even though things look ideal, this time of year, things can feel uncomfortable.
Well, some sneezing, watery eyes, itchy eyes.
Runny, stuffy nose, watery eye, neck itching a little bit.
The feeling of congestion.
Fall allergy, we have ragweed.
Dr. Pramod Kelkar says weeds are in full bloom.
We have a lot of patients with ragweed allergy causing stuffy nose, runny nose, sneezing, itchy eyes, watery eyes, red eyes. Even asthma can happen.
He says the summer weather is yielding some fall consequences. And we know we had a lot of rain.
Yes.
Could that mean more intense allergies?
Yes, because then you have a double trouble. You have ragweed plus mold.
He says this year, raking will be extra irritating.
So some people, what they do, they will take antihistamine like over-the-counter Zyrtec, Claritin, Allegra before they mow their lawn or rake the leaves. They might wear a mask. And most important, they can take a shower right after the gardening and all the work in the garden.
Can you kind of get ahead of allergies?
If you want to prevent allergies, best thing you can do is use the sinus rinse neti pot every day Shower every evening because that way you can wash away all the allergens.
Those are a few ways to stay healthier on the inside so you can stay outside.
You don't let allergies keep you inside, do you?
No, not at all. Not at all. Nope.
Susan Elizabeth Littlefield, CBS News, St. Paul, Minnesota.
And Luke Niddle will be back with your sports update after this break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Public Eye Sports. Once again, I am your host, Luke Niddle, and I'll be taking you through our Monday breakdown. Leading off today on the pitch, the Wildcat women's soccer team thumped the Davenport Panthers 3-0 yesterday. It was a three-headed monster offense for the Cats, scoring 2 in the first half and 1 in the second, all by different players. Hannah Costamo opened up the scoring frenzy, sneaking one past Elizabeth Walter in the 21st minute. Allison Kroll then wanted one of her own too and added on to make it 2-0 in the first half. Brooke Pietola added the exclamation point in the 65th minute, scoring an unassisted goal to seal the deal. The Cats also made sure the Panthers were fresh meat on offense, as Davenport only managed a mere 4 shots on goal in 90 minutes, with Sally Patton saving 3 of those shots between the pipes. That huge conference win puts NMU at 3-2-1 overall and 1-1 in conference play. And staying on campus, it's more losing for the NMU Wildcats as they lost in embarrassing fashion on homecoming weekend. The Cats hosted the Division III Alma Scots, the number 16 team in the country. Northern never held a lead in the game as the Scots won 44-27. Alma quarterback Carter St. John led a wicked passing offense that included 319 passing yards and 4 touchdowns through the air with no interceptions. As for the Wildcats, a lack of offense killed them in this one as they only managed 340 total yards of offense and turned the ball over 3 times. Northern still has a brutal schedule to get through in the back half of the season as they still haven't played a GLIAC game and have to play Saginaw Valley, Grand Valley, Michigan Tech, Ferris, all teams that hung at least 60 on NMU last season. And keeping it on the gridiron, it was a great day for the NFC North yesterday as both the Packers and Lions picked up another couple of big wins. For Detroit, it was a slow and controlled domination of the Cardinals, winning 20-13. The Lions already have their chemistry down as they executed a perfect hook and ladder, showing shades of the Boise State Broncos. As for the Pack, they were unfazed by another week without Jordan Love as they stomped the Titans 30-14. The real highlight for Green Bay in this game was the defense as they mauled and thrashed Tennessee all game long, compiling 8 sacks and 3 turnovers. QB Malik Willis flourished yet again, going 13 of 19 for 202 yards and a touchdown through the air and on the ground. As for his replacement in Tennessee, Will Levis struggled mightily, tossing 2 interceptions with 1 going back for a touchdown, along with a fumble. That's all I have for sports. Back to the news desk.
Well, thank you for that sports update, Luke. Looks like we're going to have a pretty good season. I'm pretty excited to see what we have in store for us.
Yeah, I'm hopeful the Tigers this year, or the Lions, this year could be a Super Bowl bound, so we'll see what happens there. But I do hear you have one more story for us today.
Absolutely. A Detroit area library has reopened following the return of a bug-riddled desk on Friday. Upon being opened, the DVD box released several bugs upon the premises. Library management later clarified on Facebook that one of the bugs appeared to be cockroach. The library opened today after being thoroughly inspected by pest experts. Imagine opening a DVD box as a librarian. You come in after a weekend, you open the box, and several bugs just explode from it.
It would definitely give me a fright. I would definitely be, caught off guard, especially a cockroach. Just disgusting.
Horrible.
Last thing you want to find in a DVD box, your DVD disc. So that's all the time we have today for Public Eye News. I'm Reed Hall.
I'm Ben Brearley.
We'll see you tomorrow.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.